17 hours of people speaking out in disapproval, and 70% of the participants voted against it. The training facility was planned in the wake of the George Floyd uprising of 2020. It would include dozens of firing ranges, a Black Hawk helicopter landing pad, and a mock city in which to practice putting down protests and controlling crowds. It is meant to be used as a recruitment tool for a police force whose enrollment is down, a playground to practice violent suppression. Stop Cop City protests began in response to the building of one training facility in one city. But this is not a local struggle. We gather here in Austin because this struggle is part of universal conflict. The vigil we are holding here is one of many such rallies being held today and planned for this weekend all across the country, in addition to many already held this week. As a friend wrote, the movement has always been comprised of people from everywhere, taking up all various levels of action and organization. The multiplicity of tactics, of concerns, of rage is not something incidental, but core to the movement. The ramping up of repression and escalation of the police activity in the forest demand new vectors for people to understand and act within the struggle on their own, to see it as we do. A fight over the whole world, not something merely contained down here in Atlanta, because that is how we will defend one another in the short and the long term. This is a lot, I'm sorry. She continues. To confuse politics with governance is dangerous to me. I hope and believe that we could accomplish what we must believe is possible, to generalize this movement and diminish the state's power. On the question of ideology, to me it's simple. Do we oppose the world of police only because it's the right thing to do? It should be enough to oppose them only for their racism, only for their callous chauvinism, enough to oppose them only for their murders as the highest degree of their violence in preventing us from living in the world as we wish. Do we believe in a world after the police? Do we believe in a world without racial capitalism? Do we believe in life on Earth after racial capitalism? Do we believe it's possible for people to organize themselves without reproducing the oppression upheld by capitalism, nationalism, and its police? I think yes. We can't wait, can't hand-wring. We need one another. We are more than merely good individuals or righteous ideas. We are what we have been and more. The movement to stop Cop City is about Cop City, but it is also about every Cop City. We seek to abolish all police. We fight for all ecology, all life. Defend the Forest is not a movement with any single ideology, not a platform with a list of positions to be debated or agreed upon. It is an invitation to act against the cruelty and oppression we all see in this world and feel every day, and an invitation to build new territories in which those who do not feel at home in this world can build homes together in a new one. The movement is decentralized in every sense of the word. The more things we are able to do here in Austin in the same spirit, the more we support each other in local struggles across the country and the world. The Texas Department of Public Safety wants $1.2 billion to turn its training center north of Austin into a full-time statewide law enforcement academy. Elon Musk is planning to construct a Neuralink campus on the Colorado River, and the city wants to sell Zilker Park to Ticketmaster to develop and commercialize. Boo. These are things we can rally around here in this city. I'm almost done. Tortuguita felt strongly that their actions in Atlanta were connected to a larger struggle, intersecting ecological, economic, anti-racist, and anti-colonial struggles. In their words, this is something that Tortuguita wrote. Dear comrades, we are in the trenches of the class war. The capitalists would rather see us dead or enslaved, so we must fight like hell. The police terrorize the marginalized, while politicians pander and the rich parasitize. Billionaires are causing a mass extinction and can only be stopped by collective action. Cop City can and must be stopped, but we need more help. We need people on the front lines and robust supply networks. We need to love and support each other, as Angela said. If you can send us money, please do. If you can't spare any change, there are many other ways to help stop Cop City. Tell everyone who will listen about our struggle. Come live in the forest, protest in the streets, help your local abolitionists and mutual aid orgs, be gay, do crime, or just send us good vibes. Whatever you choose to do, please don't talk to cops or cause harm to your fellow workers. I forget who I'm supposed to pass the talk to.
I'm just going to quickly read a leaflet that you can find on that table over there. I think everything on the table is for free. You can grab whatever. This is not a local struggle. Cop City will change the idea of police militarization in the entire country. The proposed compound will be twice the size of the NYPD training camp and triple the size of the NYPD one. If Cop City is built, we can be sure those facilities will expand as well. This is not a local issue affecting only some South Atlanta residents. It is a paradigmatic struggle over the nature of control and oppression in our society. It is taking place within a city, within a neighborhood, within a forest. But it is also taking place within a supply chain, a financial system, an industrial arrangement comprised of entities, of facilities, of offices, and of people. And they are everywhere. Do not wait for an invitation. Form local resistance committees. Take action where they conduct business, where they make decisions, where they go on vacation, where they play golf. Confront them wherever they are organizing our doom. Every day that passes, the police are hurting and killing people. Meanwhile, the planet burns. Learn more about Bold Resistance movement that aims to prevent the destruction of an urban forest at the hands of local police and film industry executives. And there are links on this flyer that you can get from that table. Thank you.
So we're gathered here today during the midst of a global extinction event, a profound ecological crisis, but also a profound civilizational crisis. Policing has, since the first people who arrived here to colonize, since the first people who were brought here in chains, this country has been founded on violence, and policing is an extension of this violence. This is very clear to us. Not less than 3 years ago, the largest uprising in U.S. history happened. 26 million people were marching in the streets, and everyone understood that we should abolish the police. This was an idea that was totally widespread. People cheered as the precinct burned. People had conversations and a profound reckoning with the nature and deep roots of white supremacy, colonialism in our society. But they wanted us to forget, and people forgot very quickly. There was news about a crime wave. Police departments started complaining that they couldn't hire people and started demanding that what they needed was more training. And we've seen this again and again. This is where prisons come from, right? We need to reform, so we need to make things better. There is no such thing as better policing. Policing is broken. We want a world that doesn't have police, that doesn't have prisons. So what we need to do, in the words of the abolitionist Maria Maccabe, is not to ask ourselves, what do we have now and how can we make it better? Because what we have now isn't working. The planet's dying, people are being killed every day. Last year was the largest number of police killings in US history. There were only 12 days when the police didn't kill someone. And this is also global. People are defending land across the world in face of colonialism. Just last week, 2 land defenders were murdered in Oaxaca. Right now, in Germany, people are resisting a mine. There isn't anyone coming to save us. The only way that we can struggle is to find here and now places to fight, to get to know each other, and to create the world that we want to see. Mariama Kabe tells us that the question we should be asking is, what can we imagine for ourselves in the world? Not just a pure politics of rejection or trying to fix a broken system, but to lean into possibility, to think about how we can keep ourselves and other people safe. And I think if you read the words and the really moving profiles of Tortuguita, this is something that Tortuguita embodied in their struggle. They moved to the Atlanta forest. Everyone who knew them said that they were a light. They had a deep and profound analysis of capitalism, colonialism, ecological crisis, and their intersecting nature. And by taking Tortuguita from us, they're trying to repress a movement for a free world. But repression breeds resistance, and we're here in their name to carry on their struggle. And their struggle isn't just an Atlanta struggle, as we've heard. It's part of this deeper struggle to overturn a broken system. It's a struggle that we can see here in Austin. We have here today with us Liz Gonzalez, the mother of Alex Gonzalez Jr., who was murdered by an off-duty police officer in front of his 2-year-old child. Just last month, a correctional officer in Hayes County shot a shackled man 6 times in the back. These aren't issues that are elsewhere. This type of policing is here, and we need to organize for abolition, for freedom, here and now. So I want to hand over the microphone to Liz so she can speak to us.
They can get away with it? Bullshit. That's not right. It's not right. If you want to get treated just like us, well, come on then. Get treated just like us and go do time just like us too. You know? What makes them any different? Just because they got a badge? Who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? Excuse my language, but who cares? You know? That's what they've done to me. Corrupted me. I don't even like coming to Austin, you know, because it's just unbelievable. This town has changed so much, and it's just, cops don't nothing about Austin. They're for themselves, you know, and for them to be killing our people, which is our children, is more, and for them to be thinking that it's okay for them to do that, and we're gonna go away. I'm not going away. I'm not gonna go away. I'm not going away. It's like I'm gonna try to make a difference. I mean, with the community that I have around me and y'all, we can do it, you know? We can do it. It's just hard, but we can do it. I know we can. You know, as long as we stick together, you know, no matter what color, what race, whatever, we all bleed the same red. So we're all the same, you know? So, you know, that's all I gotta say, really. And I thank you so much for being here. And I will support it whatever I can, with whatever police. It doesn't matter what kind of police. It's just the way they do people, it's wrong. It's messed up. Doesn't matter. Innocent people, which they think it's doing harm to them, but we're not doing no harm to them. It's them doing harm to themselves, or on steroids. You know, now I'm going to bring a lot of. They are on steroids. Cops are on steroids here in Austin. They are. They're pumped up. seen the way they killed my son? That officer was on steroids. And they can get away with that. And I want to change that. Make a law where if we have to drug test, why can't they drug test? You know? Yeah, I know, but still it's not. Yeah, they don't make it mandatory for the cops to take a drug test, which they should. Because if we're allowed to, then they should too. Be able to drug test it also. You know, in everywhere, in any situation. You know, especially hurting somebody. That right there is, you know, but like I said, I'm still going to fight for my son, you know, and that's all I can do is fight and be his voice. Because I'm not going to go away. I'm going to be like a tick on somebody's whatever. Y'all already know. You already know the fate. You already know the fate. We're done. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Liz. There's flyers over there that have a QR code that has actions that you can take for justice for Alex Gonzalez. Please take some flyers and put them up around your workplace, cafes that you frequent. Talk to people about how they can get involved. Next up, we have some folks to talk about.
Hello. I'm going to share some words from Portuguita's friend from the forest. The sound of them laughing could often be heard throughout the forest, and anyone who heard them laugh, I'm certain remembers it. The forest, I imagine, will have a certain sonic emptiness to it. Hearing their laugh in the distance would often remind me of the breadth of the movement, having no idea where they were or who they were with, but knowing that they were inhabiting the forest somewhere, protecting it with their presence. They spent so much of their time just clowning around and joking with friends. Tort endured hours of being bombarded by police with pepper balls and having machine guns pointed at them and never coming down from their sit, texting friends calmly the whole time and disappearing into the night after the cops finally gave up. Here are some words from Portuguita that were published in the Bitter Southerner. They could come in and completely destroy the place, raze it, arrest everybody that they find, kill anybody who resists arrest. They could do that, and then days later, there would be a shitload of people back here. For every head they cut off, there would be more that would come back and eventually arrested to avenge the Tort stopped before finishing, and that last thought and started again. What I'm saying is that if they do a huge crackdown and completely try to crush the movement, they'd succeed at hurting some people. They'd succeed at destroying some infrastructure. But they're not going to stop. They're not going to succeed at stopping the movement. This was proven to be true. There were 300 people back in the woods last night, just like and then a quote from Portuguita, which they were quoting June. Fear is the mind killer. I'm scared, but you can't let fear stop you from doing things, from living, from existing, from resisting. And then I wanted to share a poem by Diane de Prima, Revolutionary Letter Number 1. There are those who can tell you how to make Molotov cocktails, flamethrowers, bombs, whatever. You might be needing, find them and learn, define. Your aim clearly, choose your ammo. With that in mind, it is not a good idea to tote a gun or knife unless you are proficient in its use. All swords are two-edged, can be used against you, but anyone who can get them away from you. It is possible, even on the East Coast, to find an isolated place to target practice. Success will depend mostly on your state of mind. Meditate, pray, make love, be prepared at any time to die. But don't get uptight. The guns will not win this one. They are an incidental part of the action, which we better damn well be good at. What will win is mantras, the sustenance we give each other, the energy we plug into. If fact that we touch, share food, the Buddha nature of everyone, find friend and foe, like a million earthworms tunneling under the structure until it falls.
So Tortuguita was one of many dedicated people that were living in the forest to defend it, tree sits, and doing various things. 13 of these people now have been pinned with domestic terrorism charges in the state of Georgia. But during their time there, they fought very hard. It was very important what they did, and a lot of them took time to reflect on how they felt. And I'm going to read an essay from one of the tree sitters called Letter from the Tree Sitter. I've been preparing myself for what feels like the inevitable, a raid, an attempted extraction, or will they choose to siege? I've become attached to my treehouse, thinking of it as almost an extension of myself. I find myself questioning the connection I feel to a temporary structure. But I realized that what I was feeling was beyond that. From my feet high above the canopy to the roots very deep in the ground, I could feel it. I wondered if this energy was spiteful, a land so scarred and bloodstained, never given a moment to heal. Was I here because of spite? Yes, but the spite I feel towards the police is also born of love. Love for the land and all my friends here and beyond. The forest is not something I'm ever going to give up without a fight. Every delay opens up more possibilities. Every contractor that backs away brings us closer to victory. Each of our moves keeps them guessing. Whether or not they choose to destroy our homes, I'll be here keeping up the struggle. I'll be here for as long as I can, for as long as it takes. They can try to evict us, but they will never be able to make us stop fighting. There's joy in our fight. This spirit, this forest, will never be able to be contained. Everywhere you look, the police are trying to shrink our world, shrink our lives, but we have chosen to say no. Our fight extends beyond the borders of this forest. It extends through our expressions of collective and individual joy, incomprehensible to the narrow imaginations of the police and the ruling class that they protect. We laugh harder than them, we feel more pleasure, even in the midst of their assaults. Falling in love with these woods has meant falling in love with one another and with the possibilities of this world, a love that police will never understand and therefore cannot crush.
I'm from the Tronco tribe down in Corpus Christi, and Tortuguita's death really affected me as a land defender and a water protector. I've been on the front lines of many protests defending our water, so losing a community member defending the forest, questioning. It shows how they don't want indigenous people taking care of the land so they can destroy it for money. And it's been really hard. Multiple times I've been to protests and thought this might be the one where they arrest us and start shooting us. I remember the first one in Austin. Cops came, they took photos of everyone's license plate to arrest them later. And the fear that I felt when the cops showed up was immeasurable. I stood there and thought, well, maybe this is it. But that never stopped me from going onto the front lines. It's hard, I'm sorry. Seeing our people get killed over and over again. And the land mourns with them too. The sky, the trees, the water, the land mourns in so many places. If you look close enough, you can see, you can feel it. Sometimes I'll put my hand to the earth and feel the grief that she's sending out grief and telling people she's upset. And I burn copal here for Tortuguita, for the ancestors, and for the spirits that have been with us while we protect what was stolen from us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. In the letter from a forest defender, they talk about falling in love with the possibilities of this world, and it's love that brings us here. It's our sense of possibility and imagination. It's something that the police can't see, they cannot kill it, and it's the possibility that of a new world that we can build when we come together and find each other. Here's Chanel.
Thank you everyone for coming out. We're gonna open up the space for the next 15 minutes or so for people to
Land back! Land back! Land back! Land back!